Update. Am I the asshole for not supporting my cousin who shaved her head due to cancer? Original post. My original post got a lot more responses than I thought and had a lot of people calling my cousin an idiot, so I just wanted to give an update. Some of you said her head was not in the right place, and some of you also asked about her husband, and it was a combination of those that turned out to be the truth. It had been about a week and my cousin called me to come over and talk to her. When I got there I immediately apologized for my reaction to her actions and I assured her that we'll always support her no matter what, and that I was just confused, in shock and I didn't think before I spoke. She started bawling and told me how she felt like she was so stupid for doing what she did. She told me that ever since her cancer diagnosis, she feels like she's just been walking around feeling lost. She was so concerned about the repercussions on her family, on her daughter, that she had all this building on her and then when she was told she was practically in the clear, rather than having a weight lifted off her shoulders, she just kept feeling like she had to keep looking behind her waiting for the scary monster to pop back out, and that she also has guilt because she got off easy, her words not mine. Unfortunately, she chose to express these feelings to her husband who convinced her that shaving her head would help. A bunch of bull about how it would help her feel more in control and would be empowering. As I said in some comments, her husband is very much, woe is me, so I'm sure him getting a chance to show how he was just so supportive as a husband was right up his alley. He ultimately was the one that took the video, added the music and posted it on her page. In no uncertain terms, I told her that her husband is an idiot and that she should probably have asked someone else's opinion first. Heck, even her 13-year-old would have talked her out of shaving her head for goodness sake. We spent a long time looking at pictures of celebrities who had shaved their heads and how they styled it as it grew back to help her, and I offered to go help her get some wigs if she wanted to as well, and that regardless she is still beautiful and she can totally own a bald look. I also recommend that she speak to someone professional about what she is feeling. She agreed this was a good idea, and will start looking for someone. Ultimately, we are in a great place. You are a great cousin. So many facepalms. Her husband, oh my god. I'm glad you guys spoke and that she opened up to you. But yikes, does her husband have some kind of Munchausen thing going on? That part sounded very weird. I'm really happy you were able to help her feel better. This is a really wholesome update. Unfortunately, your cousin's husband acted like an idiot, but your cousin still is going through a lot emotionally, and I'm glad you're there to support her while she's going through it. Best of luck to you and your cousin. It might be worth pointing out to her a lot of people shaved their heads during the pandemic as hairdressers weren't open and she could if she wanted to play it off as that. I'm glad to see you guys worked this out. Emotions can get really muddled when people are under high stress. Wish you all the best. Just want to mention many times that cancer treatment centers will have therapy professionals that have experience specifically with cancer patients. My mom was able to access one last year even when in remission, and they fit her in much faster than she was able to get in with a general therapist. If she's comfortable, it's worth contacting her medical team for recommendations, referral, and her insurance should cover it, though there could be copays still. Assuming you are in the US of course, but I'm sure many other places have similar resources. I'm glad it worked out for you too. But the husband is suspect. Why was he so intent for her to shave her head? Add to your original post where you said supported her at appointments instead of him. This is some red flags. You both seem like lovely, well-adjusted people with an amazing relationship. Wishing you all the best. But your cousin's husband, girl. Survivor's guilt and maybe hypervigilance from the trauma of being diagnosed. I'm so glad you both made up. Most oncologists will have their cured patients get into counseling because they won't know how to handle being healthy. It's actually a pretty common issue. I'm glad she has you to support her, and that she's looking into some counseling. We love a happy follow-up, smiling face. Luckily for her, the shaved head look is in. She can rock it, and everyone who shaved their heads at the start of lockdown has posted tips for styling as it grows back out. Lots of resources out there for that, especially on TikTok. I'm glad you and your cousin were able to talk. But I'm honestly disgusted by her husband. And to be honest, a lot of the comments on your first post are so judgmental. I hope your cousin never sees it. Knowing the full story now, it pained me to read your original post and I'm not even being affected. It was all saying, oh she lives by the likes, she's milking it, she didn't get enough likes so she's shaving. I am glad you updated us, but please consider deleting this soon so your cousin never sees it. It was be so crushing to her. Wow. I'm glad you finally talked and worked through some things. I think I probably commented on the original with a, wow, she's an idiot, or something like that. I won't take that back one bit, but will now add, wow, he's an idiot. And also he's a huge asshole. If he was doing this to gain sympathy or something he is simply evil and cruel. If he was doing this because he honestly thought, that's what people with cancer do, then he's just as big of an idiot as I thought she was, and still might be. This is all just weird. Oh my god, her husband is the scary kind of asshole. Keep a close eye on her, op. Not only does she have to deal with all the terrifying bullshit that comes with actually having cancer, but now because of his influence she gets to feel insecure, ashamed, guilty, embarrassed, all so that he could get attention? That's despicable. I hope that she's okay. Before I started chemo my cancer service referred me to a lady who runs a local alopecia charity, to talk about hair loss, shaving heads and how to deal with it all afterwards. She gave me really good advice on headscarves and wigs and local resources. Are there any similar charities or support groups in your area as it might be worth getting in touch? Wow, happy to see a happy ending. Wish you and your cousin well. The fear that it's going to come back is very real and scary. She should try and join a support group, if that's her thing, so she can talk to others who are going through the same issues. I hope your cousin is okay. I empathize with your cousin, 100%. I am 10 months out of cancer treatment and in the clear and haven't shaken that, it is lurking, it is bad, feeling. There is a reason why survivors have a slew of mental health issues post-treatment and diagnosis. I am glad you reconnected and are in a great place. Phooey to her husband. P.S. Happy to share some online resources and groups that have helped me get my feet back under me, if they would be helpful for your cousin. Does the husband have a thing for shaved heads? Or is he just kinda dumb? Happy for you too, but might need to follow up about husband. Is she able to take the video down? Why did he want her to do that? Her husband's actions are worrying. I have had cancer, my husband was my rock. He certainly didn't try to amp up my negative feelings and try to convince me to do something drastic like cutting my hair off. He clearly wanted attention and chose to use his suffering wife to get it. As a person who also got off easy, without chemo the first time I had cancer, I feel it. There's an undeniable guilt I have carried for many years after I was in the clear. I remember seeing a little baby at the hospital who clearly was much sicker than I was going through the heavy-duty cancer treatment. I felt guilty. I was subjected to miserable medication and surgery, but I survived. I know the baby didn't. Please suggest her go to a support group. As a cancer survivor, I can confirm. When she was told she was practically in the clear, rather than having a weight lifted off her shoulders, she just kept feeling like she had to keep looking behind her waiting for the scary monster to pop back out, and that she also has guilt because she got off easy. And #X200B. This is real and kind of never goes away. Although it's a little surprising for someone with such a, well, easy road as your cousin, quick lumpectomy versus months or years of chemo, I'd be a little empathetic. Hearing, you have cancer is absolutely brutal emotionally, and she might be dealing with it for a while, whether her treatment was light or not. You two are lucky to have each other. You are a good cousin and a good friend. Thanks for the update. The "got off easy" line makes it sound like your cousin was experiencing a bad case of survivor's guilt. As such, people make irrational decisions when coping with trauma. You're a good person for being understanding. Her husband. I don't even know. My wife died of breast cancer last August at the age of 27. I shaved her head twice and I can say your cousin's husband is an absolute buffoon. There aren't any rules of engagement with cancer and my wife would have loved to not have to cut her hair. Everyone handles it differently. There's also no such thing as getting off easy with cancer and your cousin should be vigilant with any changes in her breast. Breast cancer, especially for younger women, can get serious real quick. BC is not a good cancer, as a lot of people like to say. Her feelings are valid and even an early diagnosis can be super traumatic. Fortunately for your cousin, it should grow back quickly. I thought my wife looked amazing with a buzz cut. Is your cousin's husband close friends with Britney Spears by chance? I'm so glad you've been able to make her feel better, but I'm horrified by her husband's actions. What a cruel and manipulative thing to do. I hope she gets into a better place and seriously addresses this, as that's unacceptable. So does she now understand that chemotherapy causes hair to fall out and it's not just cancer patients deciding to shave their heads as some statement? My sincerest apologies for my comment in the original thread, Op. Your cousin isn't the insensitive idiot. Your brother-in-law is. If my brother-in-law tried that on my sister, he'd be sleeping on the living couch for a month. She takes that kinda thing very seriously, mainly because she has multiple myeloma, which has no cure, and can only be put in remission. Many apologies, lots of love and tons of cyberhugs to you and you cousin, hun. Take care and God bless you both. As someone who is going through a relatively easy, by comparison, cancer diagnosis while close friends and family battle stage 2 and 3 cancers with chemo that is wrecking them, not to mention losing my mom to stage 4 cancer a year ago, I totally understand the guilt she says she has about getting off easy. It's so weird because you should be happy, and you definitely are, but at the same time every time someone offers you support it's a major imposter syndrome moment where it's just like, no I don't need it. I don't deserve it. Sometimes I feel embarrassed to tell people I have cancer because, even though it is the literal truth, it still feels like an exaggeration. I'm glad you were able to talk. You've done so much just being emotional support for her, but if anyone wanted to do more for her, I know other cancer patients who absolutely loved getting makeup. Either a gift card or giving her various types of makeup you know she likes. It's something they have more control over without being able to style their hair, and she could try new looks. You're an awesome cousin. I'm glad you were able to talk things out. In my opinion, Selma Blair rocked the shaved head look. Have your sister look at the photos of her if she needs some ideas or a little self-esteem boost. Wow, does her husband have Munchausen's by proxy or something? Happy this worked out. Honestly, I can see why she might be feeling so guilty, even though she shouldn't. With how often we hear about people passing, she might have some survivor's guilt. She's lucky to have such a good cousin. Thanks for the update, and I am so glad it worked out. You two sound like you really care about each other. Your post illustrates how ridiculous this sub can be sometimes. Everyone in the comments was piling on her cousin and calling her awful and stupid, and that was not the case at all. I wish this sub wasn't so rabid about having to call someone an asshole in every single scenario. Your situation was one of many where there are no assholes, but the sub insists there is one anyway. Nah. I'm glad it's worked out for the most part, but why is your cousin with that guy if he does shit like this? Gross. Her husband is a sympathy vampire using his wife's struggle for attention. What a gross person. What kind of monster exploits their cancer survivor partner's psychological instability for attention? He basically made her look like a total jackass to every single person who knows the details of this scenario. She owes this dude a slap in the face. Good news, keep looking after her. I'm coming up on my 3-year anniversary of having breast cancer. It was early stage, and, though major, surgery was all I needed. I felt weird about calling myself a cancer survivor because I didn't need chemo or radiation, and after the 4-week recovery from the double mastectomy, my life got right back to normal. Then I realized that of course I'm a survivor. I had my chest cut off, not to mention the tamoxifen I take to keep it from coming back, drop-kicked me into early menopause. Just because I still had my hair didn't mean I hadn't gone through something awful. I hope your cousin knows that everything she is feeling is normal and she should not feel stupid. Her husband should definitely feel stupid. Also, you are a good person. Wait, she got through treatment without losing her hair and let her husband talk her into shaving it off anyway. Sorry I didn't see original post. Having lost my hair to chemo once, there is no way I would ever shave it off voluntarily. Bless her. This was so wonderful that a conflict turned into an opportunity for bonding. As someone who has a shaved head for the joy of it, I can thoroughly recommend getting some glitter, hardcore cat eyeliner, bright lipstick and massive earrings and really leaning into it. I'm glad you and your cousin have made up and that she has you to support her. That husband sounds really dumb. Bald heads actually look kinda cool and are super easy to take care of, so at least she has that. A fantastic update. To be honest, I wouldn't shave my head to support a relative with cancer even if they did lose their hair. Look into getting some nice colorful shawls and headbands. Wow, I love these kinds of updates. Super wholesome. Good luck, you both, I'm super happy you worked it out. Great update. Also, scarves and hats. It's freaking hat season.